Welcome to the Solid Verbal. The Solid Verbal.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
I've heard so many players say, well, I want to be happy. You want to be happy for a day? Eat a steak.
It's that woo-woo!
And now, Dan and Ty.
Welcome back to the Solid Verbal, boys and girls. My name, as always, is Ty Hildebrand, joining me over there on the eastern shores of the Solid Verbal. It's frigid, it's blustery, it's New York City, and that can only mean that it is Dan Rubenstein. Sir, how are you?
I'm good, Ty. I mean, I'm all right, but the mere fact that we're getting into our 2-hour mega quick lane bowl special,
Yeah, how about it?
I'm feeling juiced. Duke, NIU, I believe the fine city of Detroit. It's all happening. So I'm ready to go.
It's all happening indeed. Thank you to everyone out there for tuning back in. We are now squarely in the bowl previewing segment of our Solid Verbal season. We don't have games to discuss, at least not this coming Saturday, but we do have ones that are on the horizon.
Yeah.
Get in on the bowl pool. We've got links posted out on the Facebook page. We'll post it on Twitter. We'll continue posting it on our webpage as well. 41 games for you to pick. We're going to do our best here to try and talk you through them and at least give you some sense of who Dan and I are going to pick. Yeah. On tonight's show, we've got some news to discuss that we didn't discuss previously. We've got a whole slew of games to discuss here, Dan. Do we count these up? Do you know how many we've got tonight?
We have, I think we're into double digits, 10, 12 games. We got a bunch.
A heavy lift tonight in terms of bowl games, Dan.
8, 9, 10. I'm 11, 12. I'm seeing 12 games, Ty.
Jeez.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm ready. I have nuggets, Ty. I have so many nuggets about these guys. I'm going to need some sauce, Ty. I'm going to need some spicy sauce from you.
A little Chick-fil-A sauce with those nuggets sounds good to me.
Do you know what Chick-fil-A sauce is?
Is that a rhetorical question? You know I don't know the answer to that.
But do you know what comprises Chick-fil-A sauce?
I have absolutely no idea.
Do you like Chick-fil-A sauce?
I love it. It's great.
I want to say it's a barbecue honey mustard hybrid.
Okay.
I believe that is the case. It looks like, okay, officially, the copycat recipe says whisk together a little bit of mayonnaise, honey, mustard, lemon juice, and barbecue sauce.
That's not too bad. I could probably make that on my own.
You're making your own Franklin barbecue sauce.
I am.
What can't you do?
Well, we got a lot of nuggets here to talk about in bowl country, and we'll get to those, I promise. We'll get to the news, I promise. But the only bit of housekeeping news that we must discuss first is that the live show is currently sold out. If you go on out to the Facebook event, if you go to our Facebook page, if you go to our web page or Twitter account, Instagram, all of those spots have links back to our ticketing site. Right now, they're sold out. We're trying to hold some back for people who might be coming to Atlanta for the game and for just other folks in Atlanta who might decide at the last minute that they want to come. That allotment will go back on sale after we know who's playing in the national championship game. But as we've said time and time again now, if you are going to be in Atlanta, if you're thinking about coming to Atlanta, you're not sure about the show, but you're interested, please do send us an email at solidverbal@gmail.com. It helps Dan and I out just to figure out what kind of crowd are we looking at here that we haven't already accounted for. So solidverbal@gmail.com. It's going to be smashing good fun. If you might be interested, give us a holler. Let us know.
Yeah, Atlanta friends of ours. I mean, when I say friends of ours, I mean Verballers. You guys grab these tickets quickly.
Oh, they're going like hotcakes, Dan.
I figured we'd given enough people lead time to be like, all right, we've got a few weeks until that. Like, no, it was like 2 days. They were all gone. So I was impressed.
I was as well. I'm very excited about that show.
Yes, it's going to be we have, I want to say, mixed media plans.
Yes.
We know like charging money is a thing that we're very thankful that we're able to do that and people are able to support the show. So we are trying our best to give you not just us sitting there and giving you a Q&A, but an actual capital S show with capital F friends and media pals and all sorts of things like that. So we're very grateful we have this opportunity. So we cannot wait to hang.
I'm thinking space opera like in Star Wars Episode 3.
Fully nude.
Very thematic this week, by the way.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's true.
The Star Wars, not the nude.
Not the nude. Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, Dan, we have older but still breaking news. We talked a lot about the debacle, the raging tire fire, the dumpster fire, whatever superlative you'd like to use at Tennessee regarding their coaching search. We talked about all the jokes. We didn't talk about the actual coach. The actual coach is Jeremy Pruitt. They hired him away from Alabama. I believe Pruitt will still be coaching in the playoff. Is that correct?
That is the early word, though subject to change, as we know what happens with Alabama coordinators.
Subject to change, but Jeremy Pruitt has had a pretty successful run at Georgia, at Florida State, most recently at Alabama. He's coached at a very high level. He's been a defensive coordinator. The early read on him is that he's going to bring, I'm laughing as I say this, but a more aggressive attacking mentality.
Hell yeah.
With him from Tuscaloosa up there to Knoxville after spending however many years now under Butch Jones. That is something that I think Tennessee fans could get pretty excited about. So Jeremy Pruitt, at long last, tabbed as the new head man.
Yeah, and the ceiling is pretty high. Tennessee has phenomenal facilities. They can attract a lot of talent. The big thing to me is, and this has been impressive early, with what can Jeremy Pruitt attract in the way of assistant coaches and support staff, strength and conditioning. He just hired away, I don't have his name in front of me, but the sort of de facto GM of LSU football, who I think is a Tennessee native, who helps out with operations and recruiting. And so you have to assume, or not assume, but I would say that the optimist looks at Jeremy Pruitt and says he's worked with 3 top-level coaches in Mark Richt, Jimbo Fisher, and obviously Nick Saban. What has he taken from them organizationally? How will he deal with people? Is he perhaps more mature than he has put out there in the years past? So I think ceiling-wise, it is exceptionally high with how he's been able to hire early on. And I am exceedingly curious at this point, without a full staff, how he rounds out the recruiting class, which I know we're going to talk about momentarily, just recruiting in general, both with this early signing period that begins next week. I think it's the 20th to the 22nd, and then the more standard signing day in early February. So there's a lot to be optimistic about, I guess cautiously optimistic about, with hiring somebody without head coaching experience, but a ton of high-level experience in that region.
Yeah, and you mentioned recruiting. This seems like a natural segue to talk about what's going on in the recruiting world. They're basically reformatting signing day as we know it, the signing period as we know it. And we did have a question come through. Is this something that we're going to talk about? Well, yeah, it's college football. We will be talking about it next Wednesday, as that's kind of the new signing day. Is that how they're trying to brand this thing now?
I don't know if it's a they trying anything, but I think schools in general are treating this like it is the traditional signing day. You have the 3 days, which gives, recruits and coaches whatever flexibility early on just to make sure everything is in order by the 20th, 21st, or 22nd. It hurts, I think, prospective kids who would have more time to take visits and see how things shake out after high school football seasons end and bowl season ends. So there's a little bit of flexibility gone. I think in general, the bigger programs, Power 5 type programs, will have rounded out their class, maybe like 16, 17, 18, 19 kids out of an average of about 25. So yes, it is the de facto signing day. This is what we will be paying attention to, I think, more, but certainly more to come. It hurts schools like Stanford, Notre Dame with more rigorous academic requirements, because a lot of the times kids are waiting to find out and get their grades,
waiting on a test score,
school. And so schools like that, and I know David Shaw has spoken out against this, that it really does hurt them. So we'll be curious to see how many kids don't sign early in hopes that if they wanted to go to a place like Stanford or Notre Dame, those are the 2 biggest, I think, academically right now, how that affects their own timing. So it should be interesting to see. And have you been paying attention at all to this?
No, minimal.
Okay. Real quick, Ty. This is, and I think a lot of commitments will be happening, and we'll obviously be reviewing it after the fact. Here's your top 12 team rankings and a ton subject.
This is an important primer because you know my stance on recruiting.
Yes,
generally, it's not that I'm not into it.
Wait and see.
Yeah, I'm just not into it until I absolutely have to be into it. Recruiting being the lifeblood of college football, you can't avoid it. It's important. I just haven't looked into it. It's kind of coming early this year because of this new format.
Yes, so you're absolutely right. Here is the 24/7 composite rankings right now. Ohio State, Texas. Hey, Texas.
Nice.
Miami. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Georgia, Penn State, and Notre Dame at 5 and 6. Oklahoma 7, Auburn, Alabama, Oregon's at 10. They were a little bit higher, but have had some decommitments after Willie Taggart left. Washington right there at 11, and Jim Harbaugh and Michigan at 12. Okay. So I think a pretty familiar group, but Texas at number 2. Certainly they have the regional talent to justify. So yeah, that all feels about right. And quarterback wise, it looks like a lot of the guys that you would recognize team-wise. I mean, Clemson has the top quarterback in the class. Georgia has number 2. Washington has 2 top, 14 quarterbacks. Oregon got their guy. Notre Dame has Phil Jurkovec.
Yeah, right.
Is that his name?
Yep.
Interestingly enough, Utah has a top 10 quarterback in the country.
I saw that. I did see that. Yeah. Interesting.
So, yeah, Michigan State with the number 15 overall quarterback. So that's cool to see if they can sort of keep that quarterback play at a high level. And Justin Rogers appears to be a top 5 guy for TCU. So looks like a pretty good class of guys going all over the country to Powers.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about this in much, much more detail on the show we do next week. I guess that'd be December 20th. We'll also preview bowls on that show, which means it's going to be a longer podcast than you and I would typically do. But we want to make sure we cover all the relevant information, recruiting, and bowl season. We got a bunch of previews that we've started to look at for next Wednesday. So stay tuned for that.
Can I ask you a question real quick before we move on?
Sure.
What do you think of the Jeremy Pruitt hire for Tennessee?
I like it. I think that bringing some sort of toughness with him from his last role is something that Tennessee fans should be excited about. To your point, he has coached at a very high level, but the question always remains, he hasn't been a head coach previously.
Sure.
So not everyone ends up being Kirby Smart. Will there be an adjustment period? How will he deal with being in the fishbowl that is Tennessee? It's not an easy job. So I will wait and see on that front how he handles not only that increase in responsibility, but also just that spotlight that he's going to be under. We don't know. That part remains to be seen.
True. All right. Fair enough. They were down to, and I say that in a weird, facetious way, but they had taken to interviewing SEC defensive coordinators. Another one of the big names was, I think, Kevin Steele from Auburn. So certainly they had finished setting their sights at high-ish and weird choices at head coach with guys with head coaching experience, perhaps at Rutgers, and then Dave Doran and David Cutcliffe and Mike Gundy, and then they were sort of zeroing in on perhaps more realistic in the way of coordinators that, to their credit, won't cost as much. More money for assistants, more runway to prove themselves early on as a head coach instead of needing immediate results. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I'm curious. I like it. I am reserved about loving it.
Same. All right. The only other bit of coaching news that I wanted to discuss, Sonny Dykes is going to be taking over at SMU. Chad Morris left for Arkansas.
Yep.
Sonny Dykes is going to be coaching the bowl game for SMU. It's a rare move. It's not entirely unprecedented, but certainly not the kind of thing that I can ever remember discussing in the 10 years of us doing this podcast. A new coach coming in, nothing to do with the program previously, will now be coaching the bowl game for SMU against Louisiana Tech. I'm going to give you the option to change your pick from SMU to Louisiana Tech because I had La Tech to begin with. I'm on this thing now where I'm not going to go too heavy on teams that lost a coach, and in the case of this game, even though SMU was favored, I was going to go La Tech. But this, to me, seems like a historically terrible decision. Despite the fact that nothing's really riding on this game, I just don't see how a team can come in and feel good about its chances with a brand new coach for one game.
I'm going to stick. Well, no, I'm going to take La Tech. I think this has the makings for just a mess. And by the way, Ty, I am a little bit disappointed in you for not knowing your Brian Kelly history. But he coached Cincinnati like 2 weeks after being named the head coach there. He arrived there from Central Michigan, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
And he did coach Cincinnati in, I forget which bowl. Let's assume it's like the Motor City Bowl. I think that's a fair guess. But that I did not come up with that myself. I saw somebody else tweet that out and just looked it up myself. But yeah, Brian Kelly did it at Cincinnati. So there is recent precedent. And I guess he followed up that real quick coaching job with a real quick exit when Cincinnati went undefeated and went on his way to South Bend.
This is true. He was there for 4 seasons.
That is true. It's
he was there longer than your boy Willie Taggart.
He was. That is facts only,
Oregon.
Ty. Facts only.
All right. Well, if any other news breaks, we will be sure to bring it to you. I would advise changing your pick away from SMU. I think that's going to be potentially a mess, but we shall wait and see. Before we get to bowls, though, Dan, we do need to talk about your shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a wedding this weekend.
Oh, that one, yes.
You've got a wedding this weekend. Will you be wearing your proper cloth dress shirt?
It's not just a wedding. It is the wedding of the Southern California social calendar. Camera guy Dave.
Yes.
Tying the knot, and of course, tie. Of course, it's black tie optional.
Okay.
I will be wearing a black suit and a black tie. Not a tux, but a black suit and a black tie, and my crisp, perfectly fitting shirt from Proper Cloth.
You are exercising your option to not only look snazzy with the black tie, but also with the dress shirt. I applaud that.
Absolutely.
Finding a dress shirt that fits is hard. Something's always off. Thankfully, thanks to our friends over at Proper Cloth, you can easily create a custom shirt. In mere seconds, you got to answer 10 questions. That's it. You choose from 20 collar styles, 10 cuff styles, 500 fabric styles, business to casual, to whatever you want to do to completely customize your shirt. You can get it exactly the way you want it. Proper Cloth. Each one of their shirts goes through extensive quality control testing. You get the absolute best quality and craftsmanship available to you, and they guarantee a perfect fit. So if it doesn't fit, they'll remake it for free. You don't need to worry. Did you answer a question wrong? Is the question going to accommodate my rhombus-sized abdomen? Don't need to worry about that. Proper Cloth will take care of you because they're the future of shirts, Stan. It all starts at just $80 a shirt. So stop wearing a shirt that doesn't fit to a regal occasion like, what'd you call it, Southern California's most preeminent wedding?
Social event of the event of the social calendar. I don't know. It was so long ago, Ty.
You don't want to wear an off-the-rack shirt to something like that.
Nah, Ty, nah.
Go to propercloth.com/solid today. Enter the gift code SOLID. You'll save $20 on your first shirt.
You know what they say, Ty? If it doesn't fit, you must go to a very easy website and adjust your sizing so you get a better fit.
Propercloth.com/solid. Use the gift code SOLID, Dan.
Done.
There you have it. We have picks to make.
Dan, Ty, help. I need picks of the week.
I am excited for these games.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
What's getting you juiced?
I'm getting juiced about the Bad Boys Mower Gasparilla Bowl.
It's still Gasparilla. I love the double L.
I'm going Spanish with that double L, Dan.
Gasparilla. Are you excited?
This used to be, yeah, sure. This used to be the St. Petersburg Bowl. Mm-hmm. For a hot minute, you and I exchanged a few messages on the old G-Chat machine about how much it might cost to sponsor this bowl. Because you'll remember, they didn't have a sponsor. They were openly courting new sponsors for this bowl game.
I want to say, was it 2 years ago it was the Bitcoin Bowl?
Yeah.
I believe. And then Bitcoin was like, yeah, we're gonna shoot our value through the roof and not spend a day. As soon as they decided to part ways with the bowl scene, boom, value through the roof.
Bitcoin could buy the entire city of St. Petersburg right now.
Correct. Economics.
Okay. December 21st at 8 p.m. on ESPN, we got the Bad Boys Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. I don't care. We've got a matchup here between Temple at 6-6 and Florida International at 8-4. Temple is currently about a 7.5 point favorite. Dan, before we get into the analysis, What is our gift situation for this contest?
Our owl friends will be perusing a gift suite. They will be going home with an Oakley backpack and a neck pillow. A neck pillow. Do you own a neck pillow?
I do own a neck pillow.
They're pretty good. Also, FIU's the Golden Panthers. It's not just the Owls who will
Right.
have access. But I'm mixed on the neck pillow. I think I just need a better one. I'm for the idea of a neck pillow. I just haven't found one that I really like.
I'm pro neck pillow. I've used it at home too, just when it's laying around the house.
Damn, look at you. Casual Ty. Here's what we know, Ty. Owls. Offense. Not good.
No,
good.
no,
Which
not
isn't
good.
all that different. But the fact that they couldn't run this year, and they really could for a good chunk of Matt Rule's time there in Philly, is disappointing, to say the least. In Jeff Collins' first season, they couldn't really pass it all that much. The defense wasn't bad, which is to be expected with Collins' background and what Matt Rule left that team with. Decent on third down. Sharif Finch had a nice year on the defensive line. Temple beat Navy. Ty, that's
Yeah.
a thing.
Okay.
So, transition year, I would say, for the Owls. FIU offense, not bad. They also couldn't run. So, woof, if you like running the ball, you might want to watch a different game. But they threw the ball well. Alex McGuff, top half of the Conference USA quarterback ladder. Thomas Owens, maybe the best receiver in the conference. Could have looked like their rock. And here's the good news, Ty. FIU's defense was
Awful.
trash.
Awful. Yeah. 92nd ranked according to Bill Connolly's S&P Plus metric.
Yes. And FIU did beat Marshall. They beat UTSA. So, but in this specific game, we have trash on trash.
We call this the trash compactor game, Dan.
Yes, we did.
Garbage matches on the detention level.
No, shut them all down. Hurry.
Shut them all down, Dan. We're all stuck in a trash compactor here for Temple and their 104th rated offense against FIU's 92nd ranked defense. I believe in physics you would refer to this as the stoppable force versus the movable object.
I think that's correct. But yeah, Butch Davis, Jeff Collins, high quality coaches, 7.5 point spread for Temple. I think I'm going to take those points. I think it's going to feel a little bit shootouty with FIU's ability to move it through the air. How's that?
I'm inclined to go points, but again, keeping in mind that we've got a confidence pool,
True.
I'm going to go 13 points on the Owls of Temple in a close one.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Not a lot of confidence. I think Temple might edge them with some defense.
Moving on to the Bahamas Bowl, Dan.
And not a Chick-fil-A Bahamas Bowl anymore.
No, you ever been to? First off, was it ever the Chick-fil-A Bahamas Bowl? I don't think it was.
It was okay. I don't think
It was the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl.
Oh, that's what it is. Damn it. I'm a bad person.
There are so many chicken sponsors, though, in these bowl games that I can't blame you for getting them confused.
Oh, fair. Do you have a preference between Chick-fil-A and Popeyes?
I've never been to a Popeyes.
Is that really?
There is a Popeyes nearby. I was able to locate one, but I've never actually gone to it. So my experience is fairly limited to
Ty.
just Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I know.
Go to a Popeyes.
I've been
Follow
to
your heart.
I've been to a Crown's Fried Chicken down
Different.
in downtown Philly.
Now, go to Popeyes. Popeyes is wonderful.
The Bahamas Bowl. Sans,
Yes.
a chicken sponsor. They played this one in Thomas Robinson Stadium on Nassau. December 22nd at 12:30 in the afternoon on ESPN. We've got the Ohio Bobcats at 8-4, a 7.5 point favorite over the UAB Blazers. They
Hell
finished
yeah.
the year at 8-4. This is, an interesting game for a variety of reasons, but we got to give a shout out to UAB because the program was dead. And by dead, I mean literally dead a couple of years ago. Now they're back. They're 8-4. They're going bowling. They're going to the Bahamas. That's a pretty cool story just on its own. What is our gift situation here for the Bahamas Bowl, Dan?
Well, they'll be going through a gift suite. They're getting our favorite sandal brand
Eye
that's
Slide?
associated with bowl. They are getting some eye slides.
Yes.
Drawstring backpack, a beach towel, and a bullpen, which makes me think that there are not a lot of gifts in the gift suite if they are highlighting the bullpen. So,
Bullpen.
indeed. Either way, cool story for UAB. Solid season for Ohio. UAB does not move the ball all that well, but they're pretty good running the ball. Big freshman running back in Spencer Brown. Good defense, especially against the run. They did not allow more than 25 points versus Conference USA teams after November 7th. They beat North Texas. After the North Texas game on November 7th. They beat Middle Tennessee. They beat Southern Miss, they did. Yeah, absolutely, they did. They beat UTSA. Everybody has a good win over UTSA, who is also somehow good.
Yeah.
But yeah, really cool story for UAB to be back bowling after returning to FBS football. Ohio, they themselves, a better offense, I would say, than UAB, which is why they're favored in this game. They themselves are particularly good running the ball. Nathan Rourke. What do you know about Nathan Rourke? Feels like he's been there forever. 1,000-yard rushing quarterback, Ty.
Yeah,
How do you feel about
sure.
that?
Yeah.
The defense is pretty good. They're a solid team, and they had maybe the most impressive MAC win of the season with a comfortable win over Toledo. So I think there's a lot to like about the Bobcats here.
I'm 31 points in favor of the Bobcats. I like them outright. I like them minus the points. I think their rushing game is too much for UAB.
Okay.
I'm rooting for UAB because of their story.
Yeah, that's sort of strength on strength, running the ball versus a good run defense in this game.
Shout out to them, but I think the rushing game's a little too much for UAB, and I'm going to go Ohio here.
Yep, we agree. I don't think about 31, maybe mid-20s.
Famous Idaho Potato Bowl in Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. This one is also played on the 22nd of December. They played a little later in the day at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. We've got the Wyoming Cowboys. We've got the Central Michigan Chippewas. And at last check, we've got to pick 'em, Dan.
We do have a pick 'em. We have, and speaking of picking, they can pick through a gift suite. They can pick Oakley sunglasses, should they choose, an Under Armour backpack, and a beanie, because you're playing a bowl game in Idaho, and that feels like a good choice to wear a beanie. So yes, it's a good matchup.
I have a question for you
Please.
regarding this game. Do we know if Josh Allen's going to play?
I honestly do not know.
That seems to be the question. He's dealt with injuries this season. He hurt his throwing shoulder against Air Force towards the end of the season and has been touch and go ever since. He sounds like he wants to play in the game, despite the fact that, he's probably headed for the NFL, a reasonably high pick, and I would assume the first round in the NFL draft. But it sounds like Josh Allen wants to play in this football game. I like Josh Allen. I don't know if he's playing. Beware the Chippewas, though.
I always pick against Central Michigan. I hold that long-standing grudge against the Chippewas.
Beware the Chippewas, Daniel.
They have the better of the two quarterbacks in this game, too.
I know.
Shane Morris.
Beware the Chippewas. They closed out the year. They won 5 straight.
Yeah,
they beat
6 of 7.
Ohio. They beat Ohio, who we just talked about as a pretty good team. They beat Northern Illinois, who I'm going to pick to beat Duke.
Okay.
A little later on.
Great defense.
Yeah, in the podcast. I could see them having trouble moving the ball against Wyoming. But I'm going to ride that Chippewa wave, Dan. We got to pick them here. Give me the Chippewas outright, excuse me. Let's go Central Michigan to the tune of 5 confidence points. So I like them. I just don't like them that much.
Yeah, Central Michigan's offense is pretty rough, although they do need, and they get Shane Morris, big passing plays, so that's good. And you're right, they started the season pretty slowly at 2-3, and they finished winning 6 of 7, so they do have a little bit of momentum if you believe in such things. They do a good job against the pass on defense. And similar story, Wyoming starts out very sluggish. You have the Iowa game. Oregon, they give up 49, but giving up 49 points to Oregon, after that, nobody else scored 25 against Wyoming. This team was led by its defense. They beat Colorado State in a very strange 16-13 defensive slugfest. They lead FBS teams in turnover margin, and they have a Heisman finalist, Ty, who, by the way, when I say that, this dude is he's large. He's like 6'5", 255. He was a former converted receiver.
Right.
He's just a very good defensive player.
He's got
He
moves.
to be
He's
a
got
Heisman
moves.
finalist.
Crazy moves.
He's got crazy moves. The offense for Wyoming was largely trash this year. It was just they lost too much from 2016. But the defense is really good, especially against the run. They're very good on passing downs up front. They swarm. I like them a lot, and I think there's something about Big Sky Country, not the Big Sky Conference. That region, I think there's a little bit of pride there. Wyoming to Idaho. I'm taking the Cowboys here.
We disagree.
Maybe like a 17-18.
Whoa.
Yeah. How about that?
All right. Let's move on to the Birmingham Bowl. They played at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. December 23rd at high noon on ESPN. We've got the Bulls of South Florida at 10-2, a nice year. A 2.5-point favorite over the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They come into this matchup at 6-6. Dan, what's our gift situation, please?
Birmingham Bowl, we have a gift suite, Oakley sunglasses, beanie, and a big game football. So nothing that really jumps off the page, Ty.
I'll tell you what jumps off the page to me in this one, Dan.
Yep. Uh-oh.
Give me them points, baby. Give me all them damn points. I think we're looking at a shootout here. I am taking the path of least resistance, and I think that's USF and their offense and Quentin Flowers against the Texas Tech defense. I am not confident, at least not overwhelmingly so, in their ability to win this game outright, because it could be a contest where whoever has the ball last is whoever ends up winning. But I like USF a little bit more. I think Charlie Strong knows how to coach against that Texas Tech offense.
Sure.
So give me the Bulls to the tune of 14 confidence points here.
We don't have a drive chart to review because there have been no games since our last show.
Correct.
Ty, do you have that tune like queued up? This is the ranking, the S&P Plus rankings of South Florida's wins. Here we go, of those teams. 129, 118, 86, 123, 103, 90, 119, 160. They did not beat any good teams. They did not beat a single top, 75 team this year. The best team they beat was Temple. Again, not their fault how other teams are, but they had a shot against Houston. They lose that game. A winnable game-ish. They lose that game 28-24. Obviously, UCF, an extraordinarily tough team. They lose that game in a shootout and looked very good doing so against a top 10 team. But there really is no game where you're like, yeah, I believe in South Florida. They beat this team. So keep that in mind. But yeah, South Florida had a very nice year. You know, the crazy UCF loss.
Who are you picking?
I think I'm going to go Texas Tech.
Wow.
I think I'm going to go Texas Tech. I was not crazy about the offensive transition from USF, but I do like the fact that defensively, both of these teams got better. I like the momentum that Texas Tech has after beating Texas to finish out the year. I think there is a reinvigorated sense among that team. They have stud offensive skill guys, Kiki Kuti, Justin Stockton. I like them both. I'm going Texas Tech low. Something like 8-9 points.
You are once again seduced by the deep blue eyes of Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah. Blue eyes deep like the sea, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. Well, I think Charlie Strong might already have wandering eyes in Tampa, so we'll see.
All right. We disagree. Let's move on. Also on December 23rd, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl at M&G Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. This one's at 3:30 in the p.m. On ESPN, we got San Diego State at 10-2 against the Army Knights. At 9-3, they had a nice season. They're only giving away a gift suite in this game, Dan, which feels wrong to me.
Well, it feels like they're hiding something, Ty. Lockheed Martin they're giving away something good. We're just never going to find out.
You got to sign an NDA before you get that gift suite, huh?
Here is the great news about the Armed Forces Bowl. Given how Army and San Diego State play, this game's going to take like 2 hours. This game's going to go by real quick. It's just run. Pass? Nope, he scrambled and stayed in bounds. Run.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
It's going to be great.
We got the Aztecs against the Black Knights here.
It's going to be a Greg Maddux start.
Jeff Monken's done a really good job at Army. We don't talk about it a whole lot here, but had a huge win over Navy again this season. It's just good to see him back in a bowl. You can't root against Army, and I'm not rooting against Army per se in this football game. My cause for pause is it's such a tall order to slow down Rashad Penny. This is a dude for San Diego State, finished 5th in the Heisman, and for good reason, over 2,000 yards rushing on the year, 19 touchdowns. Not sure Army's got enough of a running defense to get that job done. That, to me, feels like a bridge too far for this Black Knights team. I love them. I really do. But I got to go San Diego State to the tune of 37 confidence points here, Dan.
Yeah, I think that's right. I like San Diego State by about 30 confidence points, not 30 points in this game. San Diego State beat Stanford, Northern Illinois. They beat Arizona State. They had the bad loss to Fresno. And the offense wasn't fantastic. Rashad Penny was fantastic, but the offense as a whole was not wonderful. It was basically just like, I guess we'll give it to Rashad Penny left, right?
That, as I understand it, that was the offense this season, yes.
Yeah. So that's fine. Good wins. And, Army Army beat Duke, a bowl team, Navy, Eastern Michigan, whatever. The last second loss to North Texas, real fun rushing offense. I'm with you though, Ty. The defense, or I guess in the Armed Forces Bowl, the defense is not great. So I think I'm going to go San Diego State here with, about 30 confidence points.
And finally on December 23rd, another game. A lot of action. This one at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The Dollar General Bowl from beautiful Ladd Peebles Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. We've got Toledo, the Rockets at 11-2, an 8-point favorite over Appalachian State. They come into this one at 8-4. Talk to me about this gift suite, Dan. I suspect we're going to have a disagreement here.
All right, so Dollar General Bowl, we have the Amazon Echo, Maui Jim sunglasses, a Timely Watch Company watch, and a Wilson football. So the good news for all of the App State and Toledo players is all your data will be collected and stored and put away, and your conversations potentially recorded.
But you could turn on your lights with your voice with the Echo.
Congrats, that's great. Listen, there's a reason why. Well, was it wearable or was it voice activated? Was in our garbage bracket, our secret garbage bracket. I think it was voice activated.
I think it was voice activated technology.
Yeah, this does not appeal to me, the voice activation at all.
You are surprisingly afraid of new technology. I'm
Not
surprised.
new technology,
I'm surprised
Ty.
by that.
Do you put a piece of tape over your laptop camera? Come on, Ty. What are you doing?
Who is interested in looking at me?
I am. That's for sure.
Other than you.
Ty, you just got to take precautions. And I'm just...
Who is... Answer me this. Riddle me this, Dan. Who is interested in looking through my camera?
I don't know, Ty. Brian Kelly.
You're going to see... If you look through my camera, if you hack into my matrix, break into my computer, access the onboard camera pointed usually at me, you know what you'll probably see? A wall. You will see a blank wall with no art on it. That's what you'll see here in my studio.
I think... At a certain point, people are going to be able to spy your podcasting setup.
There's nothing to see.
What filter is he putting?
There's nothing here.
Oh my! Who is Ty talking to get all this podcasting advice? I'm not a big believer in letting everybody into my world, and the Amazon Echo is part of it. Sorry, Ty, that's not for me.
Whatever. What are Maui Jim sunglasses? Are they? They sound.
Yeah, it's sunglass brand.
Edgy.
Tropical sunglasses.
Are they edgy?
I assume Sammy Hagar owns some.
Yeah, okay.
No, they're not edgy. They are very like luxurious vacationer sunglasses.
All right. Timely Watch, a good name for a watch. We've talked about Timely before. And then the Wilson football, it's better than big game football, if only because I'm familiar with Wilson. So here's what I noticed when I looked at this game. Outside of the fact that they're giving away a cool device like an Amazon Echo, Dan.
Yeah.
We've got two good quarterbacks in this game. I suspect who's ever calling this football game will be all over the fact that both Logan Woodside and Taylor Lamb have collectively had 55 touchdowns and only 11 interceptions this season.
Yeah.
It feels like that will be so much the headline in this game that we need to give Logan Woodside, Taylor Lamb some sort of celebrity couple nickname.
Lambwood? Lambside?
What about in like a Logan and out like a lamb?
Ty, I'd like to announce my official resignation from the...
Come on!
If you want to go for it, I will not stop you. I cannot partake, Ty. I cannot partake.
I'll go lamb side.
Okay, lamb side. So App State, I've always loved me some App State. You know this.
I know. You've got a really unhealthy thing for them.
You reach into a grab bag of App State wins this year, and you're coming out with hard candy. There's not much there. There's no fun-size Snickers. There's no Sweet Tarts. You're just getting maybe a Werther's. Maybe a Werther's. The best thing App State basically did this year was they lost close to Wake Forest and UMass. That's the highlight.
Yeah.
At this point. they're all right on the ground. Jalen Moore is pretty good. Taylor Lamb, as you mentioned, nice year, good receiver, and Ike Lewis. It was, I think, a down year for Scott Satterfield and the App State defense. But listen, Toledo's a good team. There's no shame in matching up against Toledo in bowl season, perhaps not coming out on top. You mentioned Logan Woodside, Terry Swanson, Deontay Johnson, real good receiver. You can run on Toledo. That's the interesting thing to me, is what App State will be able to do on the ground. But the Toledo defense, pretty good versus the pass. This is a good game for lower level stardom. And I that's unfair to call Logan Woodside that, but I think this should be, at the very least, fun.
I'm excited about this football game. I think Toledo's played better teams, as you were hinting at. They're definitely more battle tested. I am going to go Toledo outright, but again, because of that rushing component that you mentioned, an 8-point line here seems like it's too much. So I'm going to go App State with the points, but I do like Toledo outright, and I'm very confident in that, to the tune of 33 confidence points, Dan.
Yeah, I'm going to go Logan Woodside and Toledo by high 20s, early 30s.
In like a Logan, out like a lamb. Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
Moving on to the Hawaii Bowl in Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii, Dan. Mala Kalikimaka.
Oh, I do like that song.
It's the thing to say on December 24th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN.
Mala Kalikimaka is the
Thing to say. That's right. The thing to say when you've got Houston at 7-4, when you've got Fresno at 9-4. I think Houston's about a 2.5-point favorite here, Dan. And we've got an interesting selection of gifts here.
We do. In the Hawaii Bowl, the Hawaii Bowl Electronics gift suite. Nothing voice activated, hopefully. Oakley backpack and sunglasses. Tori Richard Aloha shirt.
Who's Tori Richard?
Tori Richard, I think, is, let's see if Tori Richard is a known, I'm a judge based solely on this website, Honolulu-based resort wear company that loves color and pattern.
Okay.
And I'm looking, it's a good-looking website, Ty. Good-looking prints. I would wear some of this. Men's gift guide. Yeah, if you want to send some Tori Richard lounge and vacation wear to Ty and myself, we would not put
I've never worn a Hawaiian shirt in my life.
Do you see yourself transitioning at some point? Not necessarily.
See, that's a good question, too, but no. The answer is no.
Not necessarily to Hawaiian shirts, Ty. But I'm talking about like the broader genus, the broader phylum of that kind of comfort wear later in life.
I don't think I could ever do that.
Yeah, but you're 26 now, Ty. I'm talking about later on down the road when you're in your late 50s, early 60s. Maybe you're a young grandfather, something like that. Are you going to... Do you see yourself going into that kind? Like, I've already made the move on the weekends to the athleisure lifestyle. That's how I live.
I've done that. I'm doing that right now.
Absolutely. So that's just the next functional step.
But you can go to Wegmans in the athleisure in a way that you can't go to Wegmans if you're part of the larger, broader genus phylum of Hawaiian shirts, Tommy Bahama shirts, and things.
Well, you're not gonna wear khakis on the weekend. What are you gonna wear when you're 63? That's what I'm asking. Are you gonna go like you're like Tony Soprano's number 5 guy, and you're gonna wear all like the velour?
No, God, no. I think
warm-up suits.
No, I think what I'll probably find myself doing at that advanced stage is probably I have a really nice pair of slippers, like moccasins. I could see myself wearing the slippers out. Places you wouldn't normally wear them. They're not actual shoes.
But that fits with loungewear.
But they look like they could be shoes. I think I'll push the envelope as far as that goes.
Yeah, but I'm talking up top. You're not going to wear a breathable material?
It will definitely be breathable. It won't be this breathable. It won't be Tori Richard breathable.
I will tell you, low-key, the thing I will avoid probably the most in later in life. When, you maybe want to hide your belly a little bit, that kind of thing. The coach's polo. Oh my God! Will I avoid that? Like,
no, I'm not. I had coach's polos sent to me. I threw them out.
That's the worst. Like, I'd see people our age wearing coach's polo. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that. That looks horrible. You're giving up already?
Yeah.
No. So on that tangent,
who's playing in this game again?
Also, a beach towel, Pro Athletic Surf Trunks Performance T-shirt. That's a good suite. Ty.
Not bad.
That's a good collection of gifts.
Not bad.
This game is Fresno State and Houston.
Yeah.
really good. I mean, obviously transition year for Houston. I mean, they beat USF, they beat Navy, SMU, Arizona, Texas Tech, Tulane, Memphis, all winnable for Houston. So schedule. I mean, listen, their record tells the story, but
they sort of been all over the place this year. Houston has.
Yes, they benched Kyle Allen, I think, at the end of September. Kyle Postma was pretty good. Duke Catalon, the Texas transfer, they ran all right with him. A couple good senior receivers, real good up front with Ed Oliver, especially against the run. So a good Houston team, I think.
I don't know. I think I trust in Fresno a little bit more. 2 of their 4 losses came against Alabama and Washington.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think they're a pretty good team. Jeff Tedford's done a really good job there. I'm going to go Fresno outright to the tune of 15 confidence points here. A little bit of a shorter jaunt for them to get out to Aloha Stadium as well on Christmas Eve.
Well, I mean, Houston, big airport. It might be a little bit easier. I don't know. We'll see.
The big airport does not move them any closer, geographically speaking, to an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
So I like Fresno State, but we disagree. I'm going to go Houston here. I don't know if I fully trust Marcus McMaryion as a good quarterback against a pretty good defense. I just burped, excuse me. And Fresno's good running the ball. I think the defensive improvement they had this year, I think their defensive coordinator, I tweeted this earlier, primarily, not even primarily, exclusively CFL experience.
Yeah, great.
I love the steps that Fresno State took this year. They win 1 out of 2 against Boise. They beat San Diego State, which is an impressive win. Wyoming, another impressive win. But at that same time, I think I trust the overall talent level and the younger. I like the Fresno coaching staff, but I'm going Houston here with basically the exact same confidence, about 15.
All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, Dan. We got another chicken sponsor here.
Yeah.
Chicken sponsor, the Heart of Dallas Bowl. They play it in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. It is the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, if you will, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. The Utah Utes at 6-6. A 7-point favorite over West Virginia at 7-5. West Virginia, without Will Grier, has been a real treat. And by real treat, I mean definitely not a treat at all.
No.
Now, I did see some speculation he could play in this game. I don't know if that's confirmed.
Don't do that, Will Grier.
Yeah. For now, if he is out, and that is my assumption, I am going to go Utah and Tyler Huntley. He missed the final game of the year due to an undisclosed injury. I'm going to assume he's coming back for this football game. So basically, a ton of assumptions at work here as I pick Utah to the tune of 25 confidence points. I like them better if Will Grier is out. Even if Will Grier is back, we don't know what state he will be in.
All right, I think we agree, Ty. I really do. And by the way, the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl is gift suite and a football.
And probably a lot of chicken. I'm assuming the gift suite is chicken.
We say this every year. I don't think either one of us in the last year has finally had Zaxby's for the first time.
No, never.
Every time I'm in an area, a city, a town with a Zaxby's, there's always a Bojangles or a Cane's or a Popeyes or a Chick-fil-A, and I just would always rather have that. And have heard Zaxby's is fine. I've just always rather have those other chicken establishments, so that's cool. Weird year for Utah, a very un-Utah year. They beat Arizona, which was their only top 50 win on the season. They lose 6-7 in October and November. Good running back in Zach Moss. Tyler Huntley, as you mentioned, and being beat up, but he did flash when he was healthy. Darren Carrington didn't make a huge difference, the transfer from Oregon, but all around a pretty good defense for Utah, which is probably the most normal thing. And West Virginia had their big wins against Iowa State, which is very strange to say, and Texas Tech. You mentioned it. Will Grier, when he's healthy, that offense is really fun and good. Really good trio of receivers. D is mostly okay, but I think I'm going Utah here. I still believe in our theory that you do not want to play Utah when you have cracks. And literally West Virginia has cracks. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Utah as a touchdown favorite, probably in the 17-18 range.
Moving on to the Quick Lane Bowl, we had promised a 2-hour special standalone podcast talking about the Quick Lane Bowl at Ford Field.
Yep.
I don't think we were serious about doing that extended podcast.
Oh, boo.
December 26th, also on Boxing Day. This one at 5:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. We've got Duke at 6-6, 4.5 points the favorite over Northern Illinois. The Huskies finished the year 8-4. This is what I would classify as an elite level gift suite situation.
Ty, you're not wrong. You're not at all wrong. The Quick Lane Bowl is giving away $175 gift certificates to Best Buy.
Okay, not bad.
That's incredible. First of all, if that was it, Ty.
Yeah, that's better than the
That's
Zaxby's.
wonderful.
What was the Zaxby's Bowl?
Gift
A gift suite in a football?
Yeah.
No, let's go the Quick Lane Bowl.
JBL Bluetooth headphones.
Big year for Bluetooth.
Those are probably really good headphones. I don't review Bluetooth headphones, but I assume JBL makes a quality pair.
I would assume. Yeah.
Life-size fathead decal for each participant of his own likeness.
I would
Hell yeah,
accept
Ty.
that as the only gift and be totally
You can
cool with
hold
it.
up your own head at a basketball game after the fact. That's perfect. I want nothing more in life. An Ogio backpack, though, with a tag would be nice. And good news, the Quick Lane Bowl's giving them away. A mini helmet, a hoodie, pair of workout shorts, a winter hat, and a vintage football.
Yeah.
You know what? Quick Lane Bowl, that's a big fat salute from the Solid Verbal.
You know it, baby. All right. Northern Illinois has a defense that I think I like more than anything else in this game, Dan. They were really good.
Shout out Sutton Smith.
Yeah, they were really good all year against the run. Take a look at a game they played earlier in the year against San Diego State. We talked about them before. We talked about Rashad Penny before, him being fifth in the Heisman Trophy balloting, blah, blah, blah. Over 2,000 yards rushing, only two teams all year that held him under 4.5 a carry. One of them was Boise. The other was NIU.
Right.
And that's important to note here because Duke was much more effective as a running team this year than they were a passing team. We talked so much about Daniel Jones and how he's got so much promise for Duke. Well, he was a much better runner this season than he was a passer. And I think that's an interesting matchup here that definitely favors the Huskies. I like a close game. I like NIU outright to the tune of 17 confidence points, Dan.
I really wanted to believe, Ty, because that NIU defense is really, really good. It's hard to know because Duke's defense was very good this year. They took a lot of chances. They brought a lot of heat. They confused a lot of quarterbacks. They shut down a lot of running games. The problem was, as you mentioned and alluded to, Daniel Jones might not just have been a bad passer and led by his feet. He may have been the worst throwing quarterback in the ACC this year.
I know. He was bad.
Was disappointingly abysmal. So that is worrisome against this NIU team, but I do think there is a talent differential. I like the fact that David Cutcliffe is a steadying influence there, now has a defense, time to game plan. I think he's all right. I like that NIU beat Nebraska. They had the nice win against Western Michigan, a different Western Michigan team this year, obviously, but I'm going to go with Duke here. I'm a little bit more confident than you are here. So Duke finished out the season pretty well. They beat, Northwestern early, Wake later on. So I'm going to go Duke with about, 9 or 10 points here, or confidence points.
9 or 10 points, huh?
Yeah. How about that? We disagree.
Moving on. 3 more bowl games here.
Yeah. Also, by the way, can I make a very quick request about the Quick Lane Bowl-ish?
Yeah.
I'm going to Detroit in late January for a wedding because, obviously, who doesn't go to Michigan in late January? I need to know where to get the best Detroit-style pizza in the greater Detroit area.
All right.
I know some people say Buddy's is like a popular place. I want to know, because I've had good Detroit pizza outside of Detroit, I want to know in the greater Detroit area where to get that best, like that caramelized cheesy crust kind of thing. That's what I want. Sorry, continue.
Let's go to Phoenix, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Also on Boxing Day, December 26th, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. We've got K-State, the Wildcats at 7-5, a 2.5 point favorite over UCLA at 6-6. I think an underrated gift suite here, Dan.
Yeah, the Cactus Bowl is doing a pretty good job taking care of its players. You have the Yeti cooler and tumbler.
Something to keep you cool out in the desert.
Sure. Keep your liquids cool. You got a Fossil watch, an Ogio backpack, legendary hat, JBL flip for a speaker, a blanket. It does get chilly at night in the desert, Ty. It's a misnomer that it's
not
always
enough
warm.
cloud cover, right?
You got no cloud cover. It does get chilly. You get that low pressure. I think it's low pressure that comes on into the desert. So yeah, this is Kansas State UCLA, a strange matchup. I don't know because I know there are Kansas State coaches making their way to UTEP, the offensive coordinator. I think he's staying on for this game, but there are eyes elsewhere on the Kansas State staff. Bill Snyder announced, or there are rumblings that he is coming back for next year at 77, 78, 79 years old, whatever he is now. And UCLA going through their own transition. So
Sure.
Distractions, I would say. But two teams that had strange years. I think Kansas State's a little better.
They had strange years. You already know my philosophy on bowl games and coaches who leave or are
Lame
fired.
duck. Yeah.
So there's no way I could possibly go with UCLA in this football game. I am going to go K-State outright. The other interesting factoid that may only interest Ty Hildebrandt.
Ooh.
I have not heard any chatter about Josh Rosen being held out of this game. By all accounts, he's healthy. He's practicing.
Mm-hmm.
It would not surprise me if he caught a wicked case of the flu before kickoff and just
Conspiracy.
couldn't play.
I think I've got the black lung, Pop.
It would not surprise me if that happened because, in case you haven't looked, Josh Rosen is projected to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, rightfully so. When he is on, he is incredible. UCLA, though, yeah, you're right. Big mess. They beat A&M, and it was all downhill from there. They do beat Oregon, but it's with no Justin Herbert. I think the offense had a nice enough year with Jed Fish. I think they took some strides forward. Jordan Lastly had a breakout year. The defense was just a joke, Ty.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably safe to assume that whatever K-State runs on offense, UCLA is not going to stop it. Not in a game that doesn't mean anything.
You know when you reach into the back of your fridge and all of a sudden, like, oh, this is still here? Oh my God, it has developed a colony. There is a lost city in this Tupperware of meatballs. That's UCLA's run defense. That's where they hang out, the back of your fridge. And Kansas State isn't great. They beat Oklahoma State and Iowa State, 2 very good wins, but up and down the air. I like the steps that the receivers took, no matter who the quarterback was. Pretty stout up front. So I'm going to go with just the consistency of Kansas State here. I think they win a close one. I'm going to say low teens, 13, 14-point confidence here.
I'm going to go 18.
Okay. Also, Ty, if you are visiting the greater Phoenix area for this game, Pizzeria Bianco or Pizzicletta, both great pizza places. Go for it. Great pizza town.
2 more games. Let's move on to December 27th.
Yes.
At 1:30, also on ESPN, we've got Florida State at 6-6, a 15.5-point favorite over Southern Miss. They come into this game at 8-4. Your gift situation, Dan.
Your gift situation in the Independence Bowl is fine. Gift suite, timely watch, new era skull cap, and a football. It's fine. Nothing great.
This is an interesting matchup for me because you know how I feel about coaches when they leave and what that does to bowl teams. I don't know if that plays too much of a factor here. I don't think the problem with Florida State was that they were looking to mail it in. I feel like the guys who were out there played hard, but by virtue of not having a quarterback and maybe by virtue of just not being as good collectively as we thought preseason, it didn't show on the win-loss record. But they were playing hard for the most part. I think they're good enough to win this game, to cover this spread, even if it's just Cam Akers 25 times.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. It goes against your rule, kind of, right?
It does. This is one exception where I am going to go FSU despite the fact that they lost a coach.
Yeah, pretty good defense. Florida State signature win, barely beating Wake. What's up? What a year. Also, signature win, that time they had to reschedule a game they decided not to reschedule because they really wanted to get into a bowl game. Keep a weird streak alive. So, yeah, what a weird year for Florida State. Southern Miss, pretty good year. I like Ito Smith, good running back. Corey Robertson, I would say maybe best receiver in Conference USA. He and Thomas Owens, very good receivers this year. What do you know about Rakeem Booth, Ty? What do you know about Rakeem? Come on, Ty. Amazing linebacker for Southern Miss. The talent differential, I think, is going to be too much. You're right.
Yeah.
I think Florida State keeps it simple. I think they are energized by a new era. By the way, this game is sponsored by Walk-On's Bistro and Bar. It's the Walk-On's Bistro and Bar Independence Bowl.
I didn't even give the name of the bowl, did I?
Yeah, you said Independence Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, walk-ons. It's a bistro
So-
and bar, right?
It appears walk-ons. I've never been to I don't think I've been to a walk-ons. Maybe I have. I don't know. They're in Louisiana and Texas. It is a sports bar. They have waffle fries.
Okay.
Scott Van Pelt appears on their website, so he is affiliated with them in some fashion. They spell bistro in a way too cute EAUX way.
Yeah, they do
which
that thing. Okay.
I'm not. Listen, you want to say Go Tigers with the GEAUX? I'm fine with that. That's cool. Not with it. I don't know. It's too much. It's asking a lot. So, good looking restaurant as far as I can tell. Independence Bowl. I'm going to take Florida State here. Low 20s.
And finally, you did mention a new era at Florida State.
Yeah, I did.
Perfect segue to talk about the new era Pinstripe Bowl. They played in Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. They play this one on December 27th at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Dan, a clash between two 7-5 Titans.
Yes.
We got the Iowa Hawkeyes, a 3-point favorite over the Boston College Eagles. Everyone is going to make fun of this game. And they're going to make fun of it because it's between Iowa and BC, and it's not an exciting matchup. They're going to make fun of it because the gift suite is only a variety of new era products.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to make fun of it sight unseen because they just don't want to watch it. There's really no sex appeal here. But in fairness, I really do like the year that Nate Stanley had for Iowa.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What a campaign as a sophomore. Only 6 interceptions on the full season. Iowa maybe not the most exciting team this season, but they had a quality win over Ohio State. They damn near beat Penn State if it weren't for a touchdown in the back of the end zone to close out the game and lose 20-19. This is a good football team that went toe-to-toe against some of the better teams in the Big Ten. And despite the fact that BC sort of invented itself as like this power rushing attack behind A.J. Dillon, I am still going to have to go Iowa here. Got to bet my heart, Dan.
Okay. Really good motto ideas, slogan ideas for Iowa football. Listen, not that bad.
Nah.
Hey, they had a quality win. Hey, they almost beat this team. Just so you can see it on the poster now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is fine. I think there's good stories here. I mean, Iowa obviously had the signature win over Ohio State. They had the early good win against Iowa State. It wasn't a great offense. It was a disappointing year, I think, for Akram Wadley and the running game on the ground. But yeah, you're right. Nate Stanley was a revelation at times. The defense played really well up front. I think they only gave up 25-plus points once in Big Ten play, and that was to Wisconsin. Game got real ugly real quick. But otherwise, really nice year in the Big Ten. Boston College, I think, low-key, a very good story as well in the ACC. They beat Northern Illinois, which, again, especially to you, that must be impressive.
Sure.
They beat Louisville. They beat Florida State. Yes, there were down years. Down defense for Louisville and Florida State was a mess. But yeah, A.J. Dillon was really nice. The duo of Zach Allen and Harold Landry was wonderful. Maybe one of the best 3 bookend defensive line duos in the ACC with Clemson and maybe, I don't even know who else. Who else was good? And NC State had a really good line. Yeah. Boston College, if Daniel Jones was not the worst passing ACC quarterback, it was probably Anthony Brown. It just, yeah, you know, it's a reality. He had a couple good games, but mostly disappointing. I'm going to go with Iowa as well. I'm going to go with the Hawks as well. And in addition, if anybody is visiting New York, Ty will give you directions. It's a quick drive to Allentown and the Eastern PA, the area in which Ty lives, and he will put you up. It's real close. He's got a big couch. No, if you're coming to New York for this game, tweet us or tweet me if you need any food recommendations. Happy to help. There's a ton of good food. Don't eat at the 3-story Olive Garden if you're coming to New York. That's all I ask.
Fair enough.
So yeah, Iowa.
Who are you picking?
I'm not super confident in this game. I'm going to go like 10-11.
All right, I'm going to go Iowa, 19 points.
Okay.
All right, there you have it. Thank you for bearing with us. Fun show. Covered a bunch of ground here in the bowl season. By the time we do our next show, there will be bowls that are in the books, which we can discuss briefly. But for the most part, we're going to be talking recruiting and the new signing day format. We're going to be talking about some additional bowl games that you might be on the fence about that you might still need to fill out for your confidence pool. The picks, at least to my knowledge, don't lock, which means that Obviously, the games that you've selected that have been played, you can't change those, but the ones that have yet to be played, you can change those. You can move them around a little bit if your confidence wanes or there's an injury. So we will be here all throughout bowl season. We're going to preview a bunch more games. We got 4 bowl preview shows. Next Wednesday is going to be one of them. Again, in addition to some of the other stuff that is coming in the recruiting world. So on that note, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, head on out to the subreddit, post what's on your mind. It's reddit.com/r/solidverbal, by Verballers, for Verballers, of course.
Ooh.
And most importantly, if you think you might be in Atlanta either for the game or otherwise, if you think you might be interested in the live show, if maybe you checked on tickets but saw they're sold out, give us a holler, solidverbal@gmail.com. Let us know you're interested, and, we'll keep you in the loop when we're going to put our next batch up for sale.
Agree.
For that guy over there, my good friend Dan Rubenstein, for myself, Ty Hildenbrand. Stay warm out there wherever you may be. We'll catch you all in a week. In the meantime, stay solid.
Peace.